Welcome, everyone, to the press conference for the 450cc machines at round number 7 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Going 1-1 on the day, the number 3 in the Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha, Eli Tomac. Second overall with 2-2 box scores. On the Team Honda HRC, good 23 of Chase Sexton. And rounding out our podium with a 3-4 box finishes. On the Monster Energy Kawasaki, the number 21, Jason Anderson. Anyone can answer this question in any order. How did the track change from the beginning of the day to where we were at the end of the moto?
For me, I didn't feel like the track changed too much. Obviously, it broke down a little bit. I think in the softer areas, it got closer to that hard base. But I don't think the track was too different. They kept it pretty good, and I thought it was a good racetrack to kind of move around and do some battling on. So I enjoyed it.
Eli, I think it was 4-3-2, and then you've been ones across the board since the start of the season. Today, a big day, gaining the red plate in the Outdoor National Championship for the first time this season. Talk about that moment, and obviously the point to get up here, and now where do you move from there?
Yeah, we've had I think four wins now. So yeah, 4 great races, and today was once again a gnarly battle. Both motos, and felt like I was a little gifted in Moto 1 there. Chase went by me and had some better lines and had a little more pace. And then Moto 2, though, made a couple of changes, and then I felt like I was, the guy that was able to move around and get to the front. So great work from the team, between Moto 1 and 2 there. And yeah, it's been gnarly. The pace is hot, and we're just gonna go down the wire.
Chase, let's talk about the motos of the day. Your guys' pace up in the front in the 1-2-2-1 position. It was sort of breathtaking how far you guys had pulled away from the rest of the pack. Were you running or chasing at his pace? Were you trying to get some gain, put the sprint in, so to say?
Yeah, I think the first and second moto, they kind of flip-flop. First moto, I felt like I had really good pace, and I got to the back of Eli, made a pass, and kind of tried to break away, and then made just a really small mistake. I missed the rut by a little bit. Washed the front end, but my bike kind of flipped over and kind of tagged me in the back and ripped my jersey. And luckily I'm tall, because that was not a good spot to go down. I was kind of high-sided in the middle of that, like, downhill, basically. So it was a little bit of a tricky situation to get out of there, and then just rode in for second that moto. And then second moto, good start. Didn't have great lines. Eli had better lines than I did. Obviously got around me, and then it was just who could go faster the rest of the moto. I think we kept dropping lap times, and I want to say one of my best laps was 2 laps to go. So yeah, it's going to be a battle. I'm bummed, obviously, to lose the red plate, but we still got a lot of racing left, and I got to get better. So that's kind of the bottom line.
It looked like in moto number 1, Eli, he was really fast from, say, the finish line through the sand wash section. Did you do anything to change anything on the bike or how you approach those areas? Because you didn't seem to lose much time in moto number 2 at that point.
Yeah, I guess. Trying to think here. Yeah, it was just a little bit everywhere, And then at the top of the hill, he went around the outside of me, and I was like, dang it. I don't like getting passed on the outside like that. So it was just a little bit everywhere. Top of the hill, a little bit of the sand section, and just try to be better in those spots. Moto 2.
Jason, let's talk about this track. It might be the hardest venue on the circuit for you, averaging 19th overall, only 1 top 5 overall back in 2015 in 3 starts. Today, a bit of a redemption for you.
Yeah, I honestly haven't raced here very much as far as my 450 years. I think this is my 4th time racing here, and yeah, it hasn't gone very good. But it was nice to get some redemption. I feel like some of these tracks I'm better on this year than I ever have been. So it's nice to be on the podium today, and I'm hoping to continue this trend and try and work towards the front to try and get the pace to run with these guys.
You got good starts, put yourself in a workable position, but it still wasn't easy to get by guys here today.
Yeah, I put myself up there more than I have in the past. A few races. I stayed off the ground, but at the same time, I still need to be right with these guys if I want to race them. And I didn't accomplish that today, but for me, still, it's a step in the right direction, and I want to keep this going.
You know, Eli, when it comes to passing, I'd have to say the right-hander before the finish, you set yourself up very well going to the far outside on the left. It just seemed like a drive. Had you found that earlier, or was that, I'm just going to outgas him through this section to get by? You set up quite a few passes there.
Yeah, what happened was the first lap, I tried to go around Savacci there. We kind of were crisscrossing down the hill, and then I got shot to the outside and kind of just happened to go over there by chance, and it worked. And it only worked, though, for probably 10 minutes, and then it went away. It actually got worse. And then I had to go inside, so that was a changing turn for sure.
Chase, Moto number 2, final 5-6 laps. It looked like you were 1.9, dropped back to a 2.3, somewhere around there. At one point, you were within 1.1 second of Eli. You knew you had to make that happen in the last couple laps. Talk through the mental process there of did you know a spot that you might be able to gain? It was going to be hanging all out there to try to get the Moto win.
Yeah, I think I needed to make it sooner. I kind of waited a little bit too long because when the lappers come, that's when I think it's easiest to strike because the first guy is always the hardest to go through lappers. So waited through there, and then I knew as the race went on, it was going to get tougher and tougher. And we saw the 2-lap board come out, and it was drop the hammer and go as fast as you could for the last 2 laps. So I tried my best. It was a good effort. I think that's the longest or the fastest I've gone for 35 minutes since I've been pro. So it was fun. It was not great to get beat, but I'm happy to have a good battle, and I think just got to get a little bit better. I need to get better in the first couple laps and not get past, and then kind of just settle into a pace. But it overall was good riding, and it's overall just fun battling with him, and I hope to do that more and more.
Eli, you've been in this position many times, red background number plate. As a rider, would you rather fend off the pressure or put the pressure on like you had to do Chase in Moto number 1?
Oh, gosh. I mean, in the 450 class, I'd rather be in front because I don't like eating roost. So I'd rather be in front with the clean air.
You know, Jason and Eli, the bike switch this year, everything looks to be gelling very well for you. Personalities are clicking on both teams. Is it great to feel at home? And when you go back and let the mechanics or the team know what's going on with the bike, do you feel everything's being brought to their attention and being taken care of?
Yeah, I feel like for me the change has been good. You know, I think my relationship is kind of still in the honeymoon phase, I guess you could say, and but it's been really nice. You know, I think the team has been it's a breath of fresh air, just obviously scenery and everything like that. But for me, it's still new. You know, I rode with the other bike for so many years, and there's some times where I get caught off guard. But I think as far as problem solving and everything like that, I feel like this is the one of the best opportunities I've had so far in my career, and I'm going to try and take advantage of it as long as I can.
You know, as far as qualifying went for Chase and Eli, any changes from qualifying session number 1 to qualifying session number 2? It looked like 6-7 seconds, or is that just the track coming to be what it was?
I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was that much different because I think some of the guys went faster in 2. But yeah, it was pretty smooth early on. I thought the track was going to be fastest in practice 1, but that wasn't the case. So yeah, it's like I said, I was slower in practice 2. These guys threw down some fast ones in practice 2.
Chase, if you had to give your race weekend, your 2 motos, a scoring number between 1 and 10 on how you personally felt out there, what would you give yourself? 10 being the highest.
Maybe like a 7.
7
maybe
for the
like
reason
low,
of?
maybe a high 6, low 7. It was I didn't win, so it definitely wasn't great. But yeah, it's why we do this. The road is never easy, so you gotta always strive to get better. And he's on one right now, so it's gonna be tough to stop him. But I think, like I said, it's just gonna be a journey, and I'm looking forward to it.
You know, a lot of times, Eli, they say when it's going to be your weekend, you just have that feeling all weekend long. Did you have that feeling, or was this something you had to truly work hard for? Did you vibe well enough to say, I think I'm going to win it here again?
Well, I had the good feeling in Moto 2, Moto 1, getting past, it's like, darn it. But yeah, we've been good everywhere, been good in all conditions, and credit to the team.
All right, we're going to open it up the floor real quick for a couple questions, and then I'll have one more at the tail end.
Jamie, Moto X Show, Vital MX. Chase, you talked about just a second ago, you need to get a little better. At your guys' level, the percentage you guys can get better is very, very small. So what do you work on to, is it something you're chasing still with the bike or something within yourself that you feel like you can get a little more out of?
Nothing with the bike. Honestly, I haven't touched, besides for clickers, it's been pretty good this year, which is actually refreshing because I can leave here and I can go to work on myself instead of years prior. I've always been chasing the bike and trying to get comfortable, but now it's all on me. So it can be a good and a bad thing because when you aren't good, it's on you. So for me, I just need to go back and I need to get, I got to get a little bit, not faster, but consistently faster, at least both motos. So I think that's going to be my goal, and just to try and go back to work. It's been fun riding at Rat Trace. I think I've learned a lot there. The track's more like a GP style track. It's rough. It's got a lot of sand on it, and it's put me in a better position on the bike, and I think that's something that I keep improving every week. So this is the best I've felt in the sandy conditions, and here there's a little bit of both. So I'm actually looking forward to going to Washougal. It gets ruts and it's tacky, and from here on out we're on clay. So it's my strong point, and I'm looking forward to it. So I think for me, just get a little bit more consistent, work on my starts. So I did a lot of the work on starts last week, and I think it paid off. I didn't get great starts, but they were good enough to win. So it's a work in progress.
And Jason, every week in and week out, you have the speed to run with the top guys, but something inevitably happens, whether you make a mistake or somebody cleans you out or whatever. What do you feel like you need to do to fix that? Sometimes you can't help those things, but sometimes you can. So what are you going to work on in this 2-week break coming up after next weekend?
Yeah, I think as many times as it's happened to me in the past few races, I think it's more on me than anything right now. But it's been more so my starts. I just haven't been able to stay off the ground in that first corner. And then even when I do have opportunity, I kind of tend to, have a tip over or something like that. But it's still, I think that I need to just figure that out and just keep trying my best. I really don't know what other answer there is, but I think keep working on our bike to get me more comfortable on it, and work on myself to be better, at this whole outdoor thing. And I think, to be honest, I feel like I'm trending better. This is one of the better years I've had in my career, but at the end of the day, I'm still trying to hope that my better days are still ahead of me.
Jason for Racer X, I'll go to you first, Jason. The points are pretty far out now. These guys have really pulled out, but are there lessons you're learning now that even help for next year and maybe even for Supercross? Even though it's motocross, you keep talking about learning this bike. So by just grinding all the way to the end, is it going to pay off next year also?
Yeah, 100%. I'm obviously, with Cowie next year, and we have the same platform as far as our bike and everything goes. So it's really nice to know what I'm going to get myself into. Supercross, I had a lot of time to spend on the bike, and outdoors, you don't have so much time, so I'm trying to get a setting, stuff like that. I haven't ridden outdoors in 2 years, so I was still trying to get my outdoor footing while trying to figure out the bike, and sometimes my feedback on testing just wasn't right. And I honestly didn't really know where I was going with setup or anything like that because I didn't have much feel outdoors. For me, and it's not, and to be honest, it doesn't come as natural to me as it does other guys. But yeah, I think right now I need to keep pushing and grinding to the end of the season to get my bike in the best place so I can hopefully come out next outdoor season and be even better. That's my goal.
Yep. This question for Eli and Chase. I'll let you answer it first, Eli. Southwick's gnarly physically, and then today you guys had to go to the wall, pushing hard to the end of the second moto. Are there days where you feel it more like even during this week where you need to change things this week after Southwick followed by a hard? Does it affect you physically in the days after a race?
Yeah, in my opinion, Southwick's the physically hardest one.
Yep.
I was pretty spent from that one. And in that one, it's you can feel your legs at the end of that second moto. So that, to me, it's not even close for being physical versus that track versus everything else. Southwick's a beast.
Wow, even more so because I mean you were going as hard as you could in this moto, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah, I mean, to me today, like this situation today would be higher heart rate, but
Yeah.
Southwick, it's like physically just draining you.
Yes.
Because your muscles are just cooked from doing 3,000 squats, going through the rollers.
Yeah, in this, you have so much experience at this. How much of it is managing that physical load from May to September in this case, and not going over the edge?
That's the thing you gotta know what to do, right? And that just comes with experience, and you try to. It's so hard. Like there's no peaking in this sport because we got to perform 30 weekends a year.
And for you, Chase, same thing. Back-to-back gnarly Southwick and then a hard battle today. Do you feel that more when you get a load like that?
Yeah, I think, like Eli said, I think Southwick's more muscle, and it's your legs are smoked after a race like that. I stand up a lot, so my legs are, for me, the first thing I think that I get sore on. But Southwick, I don't think you can not stand up. So that one is tough. And then today, actually, first moto, I got more tired than the first moto. I don't know if it's because I fell and kind of spiked my heart rate having to get up, and it was kind of a mess. But second moto, it was definitely a high heart rate. It was just like, who can push it down farther and keep going? So, and I know Eli's in a great shape, so I knew it was going to be all the way down to the end. But as far as that, it's just a little bit different. I think here, you can flow a little bit more and jump the bumps. Southwick's more of a bulldog style track. But yeah, I think they did a good job on prepping it a little bit. They prepped after the first turn a little, so it was a good racetrack. But I think it was just a little bit different from Southwick. It's just higher heart rate and more just who can mentally push through.
And then how about for you physically? I think you missed some time in Supercross last year, right? So this year you're getting the full thing, and you're in it to try to win it. So you're pushing as hard as you can. What is that experience like?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Like you said, last year I missed 6 Supercrosses, and then I missed the last 2 outdoors. So haven't been through a full season, but like I said last week, I think this year I've only been riding Tuesdays and Thursdays. Normally I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and I kind of beat you down, especially this late in the season. So I'm trying to manage it, and it's really my first go around at a long season like this. So I'm learning, but less is better, I think, at this point. We're not going to get any better shape. It's just who can be the most recovered on Saturday, and that's something I'm learning the hard. It's not learning the hard way, but last year I was coming in more smoked. So this year I feel fresher on race day, and it seems to be working. So I'm going to try and keep that going and adjust accordingly.
Eli, with the 2-week break coming up after next weekend, you're about as good, right? You're as good as you've been all year right now. You're, as we call, beast mode, right? You're killing it. So do you take a week off and go hang out at the lake, or do you just go right back to work and let's find a way to get even better in these next 2 weeks before we go back to racing?
It's hard to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to tell these guys.
Last statement, Alex Martin retiring from professional motocross last time here in Millville. If you have a troll train story, I'd like to hear it, each one of you, if you have one. Be it racing, personal, whatever, a story that we can all hear. PG, of course.
Yeah. I've actually gotten to know Amart pretty well. I came up here when I was probably 15 and rode with him and Jeremy for a little bit on some gnarly sand tracks. And that was when Amart, I think, was on Star, so both of them were really good that year. I think it was maybe 2016, 2015. And from there on, him and I, he lived in Claremont for a while. I think he's moving back now, but spent a lot of time with him, going over to his house. He's pretty wise, got a lot of years under him, and for me, that's something that I can take and learn. So if I can set myself around those kind of people, it's only going to help me. And I think Amar's been really good for this sport. He's a true underdog. He came from privateer, and last week when he announced he was retiring, I sent him a pretty sappy text. It was pretty heartfelt, and it's just cool to see that he gets to race the 450 this year and got to experience that. So I'm stoked for him, and it's a little bit sad to know this is his last Spring Creek.
Yeah, I think for me, I was lucky enough to spend a little bit of time with Amart. When me and him were on a donations team together, I was able to be with him at Alden's whenever he was riding TLD. And I honestly don't think there's anyone in the pits that can say anything bad about him. I think he's just a good dude, and and he's pretty funny, and he's always got a smile on his face, and I think we're gonna miss him, on track walk and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a true underdog story, coming from the whole privateer thing. And I remember battling in the back of the pack with him when he was riding 1110 mods, and it's cool that the success he got to, and he's able to leave on his own terms. So pumped for him, and yeah, I think he's just a all-around good dude, hard worker. So it's cool.
Well, I mean, the memory I'm going to have of Amart is last week at Southwick, hucking across the banner. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, he was holding a wide Clyde there, and to be honest, that's the most I've been around the guy in the race. So, yeah, I've mostly hung out with Jeremy more often, but Alex seems like a great guy, and I hope he enjoys the last few races.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time.